All right, what's going on? I saw a video with the cost of the American dream that was broken down, and it turns out that the dollar figure amount was $3.45 million. So you guys let me know if you agree or disagree with many of these costs or these expenses. Some of them are related to having kids, obviously, and buying a house. And that sort of thing. But let me know what you think in terms of if this is too high, too low. Again, it's going to fluctuate depending on what type of person you are. Maybe you only have one kid or no kids, but I think it's considering, I think, two kids, raising them to 18 years old. I don't know if there was anything about paying for college or anything, but let's just go through it. So an engagement and wedding is $35,800. I know people that spend way more than that, or that have spent a lot more than that, hundreds of thousands of dollars. I've heard of that. My brother got married for like $200. He just went down to the courthouse and got married. So you don't have to spend $40,000 or $50,000 on a wedding, but it just depends on the person, right? But that's maybe the average cost of like a fancy wedding. Again, you can spend way more than that, or you can just go down and sign a legal document for like nothing. A house is saying it's about $797,000. Now, that's not the price of the house. That includes the mortgage payments. So if you buy a $400,000 house or $300,000 house, you're going to be making interest payments that over the life of a 20 or 30 year period are going to add up to about $800,000. That seems accurate to me because, again, not most people just can't spend $300,000 in cash on a house or $400,000 in cash on a house. Vehicles, this one seems really high to me. $271,000 on vehicles over the duration of your life. That seems really high to me. That if you buy brand new cars, I guess that's only like maybe 4 brand new cars or something, 4 or 5 brand new cars. But you can buy a used car, you can buy even a new car and make that last 10 to 15 years or even longer. Both the cars I have, I spent less than $15,000 on them, and I probably won't need to get a new car for 10 years. So that's one that if you do spend, if you buy like a new truck today, I mean, you could be spending close to $100,000. If you buy like a big SUV for running kids around, it's going to be probably $50,000 or more, especially if it's new. So I could see how people would get to $270,000, but you could really do it for a lot less. It's just gonna vary. But yeah, new vehicles are expensive. Hospital birth for 2 kids. This seems too low to me. $5,700. I think it would be way more than that. I know in some countries you don't have to pay when you go to have kids, but I know in the US there's a hell of a lot of expenses related to having children that I don't know how the insurance works on all of it, but that seems really low to me, $5,700. If you've had kids, let me know what you paid. Raising 2 kids to 18 years old, about $577,000. That seems about accurate. You think about all the clothes, the food, daycare, school-related expenses. It all adds up, especially over 15, 18 years. That seems... I had heard the number was like $250,000, 300,000. Again, it just depends. But every kid's got to eat, every kid's got to have clothes, every kid has to be transported places, and they do certain things. So there's some people are maybe going to spend a lot less than 300,000. Some people probably spend a lot more than that. But if you do have kids, it's going to be a couple $100,000, I'd say, at the minimum, especially over an 18-year period. Okay, so they did include college. So college is another $42,000 for the undergraduate. So it looks like they're just paying for 1 year, though. So 1 year paid for your college for 2 kids. So 2 total years of college is about $42,000. Again, I know people that pay way more than that. I've known people that have paid, I went to community college for 2 years. It was way less than that. But then I did end up going to a state school, which was a little bit more expensive. So I could see how $20,000 a year for a kid, that's probably realistic. Pets, $68,000 on pets. It seems high in the beginning, but then you factor in just the vet expense potentially when the cat or the dog gets old, or random things that go wrong with them. You could be spending a couple $1,000s here and there on your dog needs anesthesia, or your dog needs some operation done, or their leg looked at when they're like 12, 13 years old. It in the early part of their life, you might not have to pay more than just like the food, which isn't a ton, but vet bills, special pills that they need to take, pet sitters, if you're out of town and you're going on vacation and you need to pay like the neighborhood kid to watch your dog. You could be spending $50, $100 a day, even depending on who you have watching your pet. So that, if you break that out over your whole life, that probably seems a little low. You're probably spending more than $1,000 a year on your pet, if considering you have pets for like 60 or 70 years. Health insurance, this one, again, this seems high to me, but I guess everyone has to pay health insurance. So $935,000. That adds up pretty quickly. Now, I don't know. I haven't been to the doctor in like 15 years. I'm pretty young still, but I've only ever had my appendix taken out, and that was the only real time I went to the doctors. I think I was like 12 or 13 years old. And then I had a physical when I was like 17 or 18. Just you go in there and you don't think they even drew blood, or maybe they did. But that was it. That's the last time I've been in a doctor's office to get any sort of thing done. But if you're employed, or you want health insurance, it can be pretty expensive. A lot of times the employer will cover a big chunk of it, but that's still money that they're not paying you, right? They're giving it to the health insurance company because that's a benefit they're providing. So $935,000, I don't know. I guess over 60, 70 years, that could be accurate. That's one of the bigger expenses that people have, is, taking care of their health. So retirement, $715,000 is what that's going to cost. Most people, when they get to that age, are way below that. I know the average retirement is high, but the median is pretty low. I think it's only like $200,000 for someone that's 65. So half the people that get to age 65 have less than, I think, $215,000 in retirement savings, and half of them have over that. So there's a few people that have just a ton of retirement savings that push the average up to a much higher figure. But a lot of people, like 50% of people, have below, $250,000 saved up by the time they're 65, which is a problem, because the only thing you're going to get in terms of income if you stop working is Social Security. So, and then the last item is a funeral. So it wouldn't be America if you didn't have to pay to die, so funeral, it says about $8,000. It can be a lot higher than that. What it costs just to, if you get cremated, I think it might be a little bit less, but, buying the ceremony, buying the casket, or, cremation, it's usually around like $10,000. It could be more. So that totals $3.45 million. So a lot. I don't think many people have, I don't think many people have $3.45 million or have the ability to afford all those things. I don't know. I could be wrong. Some of those things people are cutting out, having kids, you can maybe buy a less expensive house, buy less expensive vehicles. But some of these things you just kind of have to pay for. I mean, health insurance, of course, you want to try to contribute to a retirement fund. Most people like to have pets. But kids and a house and vehicles are kind of the big and health insurance are kind of the big ones. But there's not a lot you can do. I mean, you have to kind of pay those things. If you either have to pay rent or you have to pay a mortgage, or you're going to be homeless. So, guys, let me know what you think on the total there, and interested to see what you have to say. And we'll see you in the next one.